back to Cooking with Bill. Merry Christmas. We got another Christmas cookie for you. If you watched one of our earlier videos, we did some snickerdoodles before. We have done some of the shortbread cookies, and most recently we just did some of the sandies. So it was a pecan sandy, and it's made kind of like a shortbread. Now this one we're doing a ginger snap. Now ginger snap is a very simple cookie. We're going to use butter and sugar and blend those together. We're going to add in some of the winter type of flavor. So we're going to have ginger, we're going to have clove, we're going to have some cinnamon, and we're going to have sugar and salt and baking soda and all the standard things you'd put in a cookie. That's a very simple cookie. Just follow the recipe as you go along. We're going to start out with 3 sticks of butter. Now again, this is a double recipe that I'm making. I find it just as easy to make a double recipe as it is a single, but just make sure you're following all of the measurements that you would have, because again, baking is like chemistry, and if you want to do it right, you should be weighing out your items, or at least doing them by cups and teaspoons and such. I've told you before, my grandmother Bowman, she used to cook, and she would just do it by feel. She'd put it in her hand. She was always right, always tasted good. So we have 2 cups of sugar, and we have 3 sticks of butter. We're going to let these cream. Now again, when we talk about creaming, what it's doing is it's taking the granular sugar and using those grains to kind of cut into the butter, open it up, give it some air into the butter, make it fluffier. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add 2 eggs. Now we're going to do this 1 egg at a time. Now if you don't feel secure about breaking your eggs right into the batter, you can always break them into a bowl. Make sure you don't have any eggshells. It's a much safer way to do it. So when you're looking at this, this is a standard cookie dough, and then the spices is what makes it different. Now we're going to add to this some molasses. Now the molasses is more just to give it some flavor. We're putting in about a 1/2 cup of molasses. Now if you don't like the flavor of molasses, you could add something else into here. You could maybe put some brown sugar, but I think that molasses really gives it that ginger snap flavor that you're expecting to have. Okay, now sorghum would do the same thing. It's kind of a dark sweet liquid as well, but we're using molasses for this. We're going to go ahead and incorporate that. Already love the smell. Now we're going to add the spices that we talked about and the baking soda. It's already starting to smell fantastic. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do 4 cups of flour. Again, it'd be 2 cups of flour if you're doing half a recipe. We're using an all-purpose flour. You don't want to use a bread flour, and you don't really want to use a cake flour. Cake flour is made very, very fine, lower proteins, makes it have a light, fluffy taste, and we want ginger snaps, so we don't want it to be fluffy. So we're going to go ahead and add each of these one at a time. Now when you add flour, you just have to be careful. If you add it too fast, it'll just go everywhere and you'll just snow your entire counter. Kind of like working with powdered sugar. Once we're done with this, we're going to set up the oven at 350 degrees. We're going to put our pans down with a silk pad on them. So you could use parchment paper if you wanted. You could do it on a standard Teflon sheet. I don't particularly like Teflon sheets, but you can put them on there. We're going to use a ice cream scooper, and we're going to put them out and lay them out in probably about a dozen on a sheet. Cook them at 350 degrees, and we'll see them afterwards. Okay, so we've gotten this ginger snap dough already. We're just going to use an ice cream scoop. It's a small one, about a tablespoon and a half, I guess. You can roll them into little balls. Now what you're going to do is you're just going to roll it in some regular granulated sugar, and that'll crystallize on them. You don't have to smush them down, make them flat. They'll go flat on their own. And we'll keep doing this. We're going to put them in the oven at 350 degrees for about 15 minutes. I don't know, it depends on how hot your oven is. Might be 11. Always watch it near the end. And we should have ourselves some nice ginger snap cookies here in just a bit. So stay tuned. Okay, so our ginger snaps just came out of the oven. You can see they get that beautiful golden color, a little sheen from the sugar. Depending on how you make them, I made mine as a soft ginger snap. Now with this, got those wonderful spices in it. Beautiful cookie. That's perfect for the holiday season. So, wow, just want to eat the whole cookie. Anyway, we want to just say we thank you for watching us. If you like what you're seeing on here, please subscribe on YouTube. You can hit the bell so you know when we're doing other videos. You can see us on Instagram and also on Facebook. If you have us on Facebook, like us, share us with your friends. Send us any recipes that you'd like us to try, ideas that you don't know how to cook. But we hope you're getting something out of this. I'm enjoying it, so we'll see you back here in the kitchen. You're looking at batters. It's typically a can't open my molasses. Whew.